We begin our meditation today. We begin with centering. In centering, you seek to go deeper and deeper into beingness. It's not about focusing on something. It's about letting go and allowing yourself to go deeper and deeper into beingness. What happens when you do? You see more, you perceive more, you experience more. You allow the mind, the mental looking, to expand. And of course, you're making a journey in self. You're going within, opening up deeper and deeper layers of your being. Always remember in your meditation that the mind is the most powerful. The ego is in the mind, it's the thinker. So you need to be aware of that and let go of the thinker. Just observe the thinking space. And observe the sense of I-ness. And going deeper into that center of I being. That experience of I-ness. Clearing the mental field, but being aware of the mental power. Clearing the mental field, but being aware of the mental power. Letting go of the power to create anything, to think anything, to believe anything. Just beingness. Centering the I in beingness. And the goal would be to expand that beingness. Because you're a multidimensional being, you need to center that beingness in every level of being. You should be aware, initially in your meditation, of every level of being. That you may create balance in your energy levels and that no level distracts or pull your attention away. And the most powerful tool in doing that is the breathing. Breathing is connected to every level of being. In breathing, always breathe out first. Push the breath out. By pushing out, you make space to pull in. And always start the breath with the lower area. Opening up the belly to breathe fully. Learning how to fully belly breathe. Filling up the area below the rib cage, the sides of the belly, and go down to the lowest area of the belly. As far as you can go down. And as belly fills up, you open up the chest, the rib cage, to expand the lungs. And breathe fully into the chest area. And taking the attention right up to the throat, expanding the shoulders, pushing the shoulders gently backwards and upwards. And filling the lungs completely. Taking your attention to the medulla point at the back of the head and to the third eye. That third eye posturing is the manas chakra that you use initially to create the balance and energies in your multidimensional being. And as you breathe out, you take your attention down the body, dropping the shoulders gently, bringing the rib cage in, deflating the belly, letting the belly go in, right in, and take your attention down, right onto the perineum area or to the root. And as you breathe in once more, after a pause, of course, again you open the belly fully, then go to the chest, then to the throat, opening up the shoulders. So you're bringing more oxygen to the body, you're emptying the lungs completely. That's one of the benefits of oxygenating the body. Brain feels more alive, more alert. And now, let's give attention to prana. The pranic centers that we call chakras are along the entire spinal column, from the root to the brainstem, up to the medulla point. The 6 chakras. They are connected by the central nadi that we call Sushumna. So when you breathe and open the belly, you're tapping into the energy of the lower chakras. When you breathe and open the chest, to the heart chakra. And when you breathe into the throat and to the back of the neck, the throat chakra and the brow chakra. Brow chakra brings prana to the brain. As you focus on the medulla and the third eye, the manas chakra. Heart chakra brings prana to the nerve plexus of the heart and to the organs there. Navel chakra to the great storage area of the belly, the Manipura. It brings a huge amount of vitality to the physical body. Sacral chakra, when you can manage it and tap into it, brings additional vitality. And the root center down at the perineum helps you to stabilize the prana in the body. And as you go deeper in energy awareness, prana awareness, you don't have to use a huge amount of muscular power in your energy work. Just the mind, just intention, and energy moves. The perineum is pulled. The Muladhara is activated. And as you become more energy aware, more prana aware, you'll be able to tap into the sacral chakra and its vitality. It's amazing vitality. Bringing it to nourish the entire body. Manipura is a big booster to the nervous system. Heart chakra brings the most beautiful quality of lovingness that begins to create a kind of joy in your being. It's like a balm. It's a big center of emotional nourishment. As you open the chakra to the divine. Chotra chakra brings you into stillness and deeper listening as you enter the sanctum of the mind. And the medulla point at the back of the head, which you will feel eventually, and connected to the third eye, holds the mind still and nourishes the brain with prana. You don't need to believe me. You need to explore with me. Everything that I'm telling you, I'm doing intensely in my being. And you can catch that because we are deeply connected, all of us, in the inner space. You can catch it. The waves are there. And remember the power of mantra. If mantra comes into the mind, Om Guru, Om Soham, Om Namah Shivaya, the shorter mantras, they help you to build energy very quickly with their resonance in your mental field, in your emotional field, in your vital field. Mantras resonate. And I'm saying that to you because when I come into this space of balance, mantras just appear in my mind. Because I've created a deep association with a mantra and peacefulness and balance. And now stay in the silence with me. As you allow yourself to be guided by the evolutionary energy that's moving you, if you allow yourself to perceive it. And open yourself to the urgings of the evolutionary energy of Kundalini as she moves your hand or your head or shows you how to breathe deeper or shows you where to take your attention. Look for her guidance. In a clear field of the mind and heart, you can perceive her presence. And her guidance. Now I want to get into this ecstasy of prana in my being. So I'm going to become silent. And just enjoy the ecstasy of prana along my Sushumna. Heart and brow centers. Now slowly bring your awareness to the physical field, giving it more attention. The grossness of the body, the seat beneath you, the earth beneath you. Give attention to the gross field, air around you, the water element in the body and atmosphere. In the taste. Give attention to the skin and touch. And the feel of things around you. Give attention to the space and sounds around you. And observe. There is a subtle space of mind, of prana or vitality, vital currents, of emotion, mind and emotion, thoughts and emotion are subtle. And there's the gross field of the body that is perceived by the human senses. We want harmony and balance across all levels. So let's hold that intention as we breathe deeply into the lung. Bring more air into the lung again, to the lungs. Breathing out, remember, and then breathing in. Really enjoying the breath of air. It's important for the body's survival and its thriving. It needs oxygen. In meditation, we slow down the breathing. We need to reactivate that. And learn to pull the breath in, the air in, until you can actually feel the gross field stronger in your awareness. Honor must be given to gross as well as subtle. As you're in a play of subtle and gross. A play of soul and body and nature. And let's use the power of intention as we look ahead to this day and to activity in our world. Let's create that power of intention. That will strengthen us and guide us through this day. I center my consciousness, my sense of I, my consciousness of I, in the center of my infinite being, acknowledging the infinite power that lies within me, seeking to stay connected to it throughout my day. I center myself in my infinite being. That source of infinite peace, love, goodness, wisdom and vitality. I hold the intention to stay there as I act in my world, as I become active, as I think, speak, and act. My holy intention to stay aligned to divine guidance and to that divine source, that my every word, thought and action be a blessing to my world by being a source of light. I'm in gratitude for the gift of grace. How else can I be when I feel the overwhelming grace of the divine supporting me, guiding me, nourishing me, protecting me? How else can I be? I stay in gratitude, and I pray to continue to be aligned to divine will. May my will be aligned to divine will. And I close my sitting meditation by wishing all abundant peace, all beings, every level. Om, peace, peace, peace. Welcome everyone. It's Sunday in our world again. Always a joy to see you, to have your company, because it's a divine company. What does it do to me? It expands my space. Because you become part of my space becomes expanded. And that's a joy for me. It's a playground, a playfield, where I interact with myself, you myself, in another form. Very exciting. I see myself in so many forms. And it's a tremendous joy. I wouldn't want to change my world for anything. However it is, I accept the play. Of course, we can all wish we had the perfect world and everybody would be kind and compassionate and loving and supporting, but it's not so. We're in a dark world as well. It's Dwapara Yuga, and Rajas and Tamas are the prevailing energies. Sattva is on the lower scale. But it's the play, the cosmic play of yugas. And then I've been given the beautiful opportunity of being born in Dwapara Yuga, in its darkness, in its challenge. But I'm given the tools. And I'm teaching you how to find the tools. You have them. They're hidden in your toolbox that you're opening only partially. And I'm helping you to open your toolbox. I'm showing you where the key is. And I'm identifying the tools for you and showing you how to use them. That's what I do. I remind you of who you are. I show you where all the tools are. And I stay as inspiration to you. With my every word, my every action, my every intention, my every thought, I seek to inspire you. So on this beautiful Sunday, what do I say to you? And of course, I call this series Telling It As It Is. Last Sunday, I told you, I gave you the story of the ego as it is. Today I want to focus on the secret of sadhana. Looking at the question, why do we struggle with sadhana? Why do we struggle with spiritual practice? How can we not struggle? When does sadhana become a joy? When does spiritual practice becomes absolute joy? Where does the secret lie? Why do seekers go on the mountains and sit in caves? Why do they sleep on the floor? Why do they mortify their body, their flesh? Why does it feel like such a struggle when we go into spiritual practice and just thinking about it, it feels laboring and difficult? Do you know that only happened to me in the earlier part of my life, before the advent of the Guru? It felt like a dark room. And I literally felt that my mind, there was a wall in my mind that I couldn't penetrate. With all my sadhana, the fasting, the sleeping on the floor, the chanting, the struggling to meditate, the continuous disenchantment in my being, it was like darkness, total darkness. I never lost the motivation though, because I'm a determined seeker. But the challenge was heavy. And then, sadhana became a joy. Spiritual practice became a joy. It was like night and day. A good analogy is like being in a dark room and struggling to identify the things in the room. Fighting with the darkness in there. And then turning on the light switch. What happens? What happens when you turn on the light switch in a dark room? Everything becomes clear. You can identify everything. And it just feels so different, the clarity. That's what we need for sadhana. Flipping on that light switch is nothing more than becoming aware of your subtle world. Becoming aware of the world of prana, of energy. And for some of you, you will say, well, I don't feel chakras. I don't feel energy. Of course you do. What makes you think that you don't feel energy? Don't you feel the energy of a negative thought? Don't you feel, can't you not contrast that with the energy of a positive thought? Don't you feel the energy of loving being? And don't you feel the energy of stress in your emotional being? Loneliness, sadness. That's energy. Don't you feel the energy in a vital body? And in a body that lacks vitality? That's energy. So we need to become energy aware and observe how thoughts can change that. Emotions can change that. Actions in the body can change that, whether it's breathing, hydrating, eating the right food. So when you don't observe that, when you don't observe energy, the subtle energy of thoughts, the subtle energy of emotions, the energy of emotional patterns and mental patterns, patterns of thinking, patterns of feeling, and the vital energies of the body. When you don't really observe it, understand it, and manage it, how can you be happy? Of course, it's not so easy to manage the field of energy because sometimes the mind feels overwhelmingly depressed, or the emotional being feels so contracted, or the body's vitality is all over the place, scattered. And it requires discipline, changing your habits, sustaining good habits, identifying the bad habits, the energy wasters, and letting them go. It requires that kind of discipline. And that can feel arduous, hard, difficult. But when does discipline become? When does it become a joy? I said it before. When you become aware of your subtle energies. And not only that, when grace descends on you through your self-effort, when grace descends on you with your self-effort, sincere self-effort, that light switch of spiritual awakening will be turned on. Spiritual awareness already exists inside of you. But when you're caught up in gross awareness and you don't want to come out of it, you're reluctant to come out of it because you don't know the taste of the subtle world. How much more elevated it is. What a more beautiful experience it is. Like I told you in the meditation, I just love to go in the inner world, and prana becomes the ecstasy. You know how people will take drugs or stimulants to feel some kind of pleasurable sensation? Prana does it for me. Just breathe in the upper chakras, into the heart and into the brow, and pull the sacral energy into the navel, into the heart, into the brow. It's ecstasy. Ecstasy of prana. Ecstasy. Nervous system is nourished. Everything is balanced because I start in the lower area. I'm already rooted in the perineum. My sacral is nourishing my entire being, my mind, my emotional being. Pranas are turned upward along the spine. I can feel the body completely being recharged, even as my hands move, even as I speak. The energy of the words flow. There's total silence in my being. Thinking is a waste of energy. And there is just pranic joy. Can you have this? Yes, you can have this. What I do is no magic. I've learned the art of transmuting prana from the lower level to the upper level. I've centered deep inside the energy body that gives me that power. And I'm trying to inspire you to go there. I cannot give it to you, but I can inspire you. I can say, come there with me. You know, like a Pied Piper with his flute. I can beckon you there with me. And then sadhana becomes a joy. My meditation becomes a thrill. My body enjoys it. My emotional being is heightened. My mental being is nourished. My brain feels nourished. My nervous system in the body is nourished. I'm certain that the wonderful neurotransmitters, dopamine and serotonin and all the beautiful endorphins and oxytocin, that they're all coming into the bloodstream as I do this. And then, in this there's a timelessness of the now. Time doesn't seem to, I don't care about time. This is too sweet to want to even think about anything else. So I stay completely in the now, in the nowness of this experience. So when Christ said, don't lay your treasures on earth, He's saying, don't get caught up in the gross world that you become so distracted. He said, lay your treasures in heaven. He said, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be. There your attention will be. Where your treasure is. So where is your treasure, O seeker? Where is your treasure? Is it in the world? Is it in the job? Is it in the relationship? Is it in the property? Is it in where are your thoughts focused? Is it in power seeking, pleasure seeking? Seeking the next pleasure for the nervous system? Waiting on the next stimulant? Where is your heart centered? Where are your thoughts directed? And how do you change that? If you have poor habits, how do you change it? You associate with those who have the better habit. And you keep the thoughts, the company of thoughts that are associated with the better habit. So you lay in your treasures in heaven. And that's when sadhana becomes a joy. And for those of you who have a little taste of it, you want more and more of it. So when I returned from India in 1975, I was 21 years old. Life became a joy. From darkness to light in a matter of months. And there has never been darkness again. There has never been darkness again. My sadhana becomes an absolute joy. I went back into the workplace. And teaching became a joy. The words came from a different place. The thoughts flowed from a different place. And my actions, I was a science teacher. And just to draw a circle, I could feel my hand guided into the circle. Every time I speak, I can feel the energy of my voice, the lovingness of my heart, the peacefulness of my mind, going with the words. All my actions became inspired. It was like dance. And it never stopped. It only grew and grew and grew. And I became more and more masterful. I started with love, never wanted to move away from love. Love became my most important feature of sadhana. Just investing love in everything that I did. And then, after the 40 days, power. Mastery. That love became sublimated, so that I can show love with power in balance. And that became wow, a wow. And that's what I live in. Sadhana became a joy. And that's how I try to guide you. In my every waking moment, I try to inspire you. I cannot give this to you as you would give a commodity, a physical commodity. But I can inspire you with my presence, with my words, with my attention, with my intention. I can inspire you. And if you're open enough, I can transmit energy to wake up the sleeping power that's inside of you. That sadhana will become a joy. So when you struggle with sadhana, you need to look for where the inspiration is. You need to look for where the light switch is. Don't play with the darkness. Oh, let me try to experience this angry emotion and see what it does. Yeah, you can do that for sure. But you also need the balance of the better emotions. How do you get it? You can analyze the dark emotion that goes through you, but you also need to look for where the emotions of light are. And that is the more important one. So you need awareness to be able to see the field of light. If you stay focused on only in the darkness, you don't have the awareness to see the whole spectrum that is available to you. So you need to open the awareness to see not only darkness, but light, and more so the light. So don't struggle with sadhana. You don't need to. Come into the ecstasy of finding. Don't stay only with the seeking. Open yourself to the finding. The saying is, seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened. The universe is gracious. It is gracious. And the saying is, when the student is ready, the master will appear. How true. At every step. When the student is ready, it begs another question. How do we make ourselves ready? We'll take up that another Sunday. I spoke to myself in you. I didn't speak to another. May we all have a happy Sunday in the different forms we exist in, but in the oneness of being, may happiness prevail. Be blessed, everyone. Namaskar.